It's a pleasure to be here. For those who know us, for our members, Comarc, Amadeus, Loyalty Juggernaut, it's a pleasure to see you again. For those who don't know us, Global Loyalty Organization is the industry-wide B2B business program operators and solution providers association. And the idea of creation of Global Loyalty Organization came from the programs themselves. Star Alliance, Air France, Emirates, Turkish Airlines were one of our very first supporters. And the idea was to share industry-wide, to create and to share industry-wide data set, definitions, insights, and on non-competitive basis to share with the market participants. The foundation of Global Loyalty Organization is our media arm, where you can see 24/7 everything that's happening in loyalty from Alaska Airways up to New Zealand and Velocity in Australia. But that's only the basis. The majority of the hard work we do is on surveys and research with the heads of loyalties and customers, as well as solution providers. And the idea is to create this 360-degree view of where are the programs now, what are the key challenges and priorities, what are their budgets, what are the investment priorities, what are the skill gaps in their teams, where they are focusing for 2025 and onwards, and match it to what the clients want to be delivered and the technologies that's available. What we're going to present today is based on the 3 reports. I kindly ask for this very heavy data session. It will be very heavy data session. Half an hour of your full attention. We gladly will take the questions in the end, and we'll happily to talk to any of you if you want more insights and data that we will be presenting today. Our contacts will be in the end.
Thank you. And we'll start with this spaghetti chart. Basically, by the way, because we have so much data, if you want the presentation, just get in touch with us. We'll forward it. We're very happy to share it with you. Okay, so when we were talking with David about what to present for this, and he was asking us, what are the biggest trends in loyalty? And looking back at our annual Global Loyalty Prediction Survey, what we've done is we just went through all the reports and counted all the buzzwords mentioned by everybody we interviewed. And unsurprisingly, AI in 25 came tops. If you look at 23, not a single mention. So from 0 to top. Then experiences and then personalization. But then all these 3 are linked together because AI is always mentioned in context of hyper-personalization because that's what you need to personalize. Same with experiences. If you don't personalize, you can't offer the experiences. So personalization is definitely the top mentioned word by all the heads of loyalty. And it's easy to understand why, because it's a competitive market and it's very expensive to acquire new members. And if you look at the active members, so this is the active member data. This is from the survey which we did with the heads of loyalty in partnership with Deloitte. And there we saw that only 24% of members in the travel industry on average are active. For airlines, it's slightly higher, it's 28%. So there's a huge room for improvement for airlines and hotels to engage with their members. And also for the active data collection, they need to activate those dormant members. And the profitability shows, so for airlines, active members spend 44% higher than the non-members on average. For hotels, it's even higher, it's 75%. So this is why personalization can be a powerful tool to start engaging with your members. So this actually shows also that what we've done is we wanted to know what the airlines and hotels prioritize for investments for 25, 26. And unsurprisingly, member acquisition, retention, and the profitability are top, but personalization ranks equal. So 75% of airlines say that they want to invest in personalization and also generate member insights, so the data analytics. But then, at the same time, it's one of their biggest challenges because the airlines or the hotels as well, what they're lacking is the tools, the data analytics, etc., to analyze the data and improve personalization. So, but before we continue with the presentation, let's just put it into context. What do we mean by personalization? So personalization, the next-gen personalization as we call it, is real-time, it's contextual, and it is across all digital and physical touchpoints, so omni-channel. And it is supported and orchestrated by CRM and AI. So what does it mean? If I'm traveling somewhere, the personalization starts from the moment I book my flight to my hotel, and then the journey in between as well. And the programs can measure it actually quite simply through those 4 KPIs in terms of is their personalization effort working. So you can look at the offer rate uptake, so the personalized messages you're sending, how many of those are being redeemed. Also the relevance, so the click-through, the opening rate of those messages, the content engagement, how long do your members stay actually on that particular website, do they engage with it, and the customer satisfaction is a survey you can do with your members to see are they happy with the level of personalization. So it's no longer about generic discounts, generic emails, etc. It's all about analyzing the data, having your 360 full customer view, and acting on that and giving personalized offers. Anastasia.
Thank you. So, hello? Yeah, okay. So one of the things we mentioned is that one of the biggest obstacles that we faced as industry body trying to get the heads of loyalties on the same platform was actually getting the same definitions and trying to make people define P&L, revenue, budgets, terms like gamification, personalization in the same terms, to be able to measure and compare and provide you back the data against your peers on the valuable basis. So historically, personalization onerous of choosing the rewards was on the customer. You gave the customer points, and the customer was deciding whether to fly with you or to spend it in your hotel or to spend it in your supermarket or to transfer it to a different program. So a lot has changed in the last 2 years. So now, and our research through the customer shows, is that the onus is on you, on the program, on solution providers, to personalize that offering in the perfect email or any channel that you deliver as the customer gave you his data. First-party data, and in some cases, second and third-party data. So what we want to split for this presentation is 2 big buckets. One is definition of personalization of rewards, what the customer want, and what the programs deliver. And the second one is personalization of channels, how, when, how frequently this has to be delivered. So if we flip to the next slide. So one of the reports we've done this year, we interviewed and analyzed 3,000 consumers across 15 markets on exactly the same basis, in exactly the same generational brackets. US, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Benelux, France, all Scandinavia. And we've picked 3 largest emerging markets where loyalty programs dominate: Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. And the idea is to analyze these consumers on exactly the same basis of what they want as the value of the rewards and the channels through which they want these rewards to be delivered. I would say that overall, it's very clear through this research that the whole world is divided, and let's exclude Asia from this point of from this research, because we don't have enough of data this year for India and China and Australia regions. But if we go back to the previous slide, thank you. So if we analyze the 15 markets that we have data for, there is very clear 2 buckets of the type of consumer. One is Western European consumer in UK, DACH, France, partially, Benelux and Scandinavia, which is very skeptical about personalization. You have to be much more careful of what you are delivering because it can backfire, and we will show you a little bit later. And the customers in US, UAE, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia, which were very, very open to personalization, dynamic pricing, open to share their privacy and data. If we look at what the value of the rewards or what personalized rewards the customers want, this is a data-heavy chart, but the three main takeaways are in the bottom. All of the personalized offers can be divided into three large categories. One is discounts and cashbacks. And across all of the markets, it stands between 20% to 30% or even higher in some of the markets. And this means almost immediate gratification. Like when you make a purchase, you want to see this, okay, I saved some money. And that's the dominant driving factor in the Western Europe. Interestingly, in UK, the customers said it's not immediate discount or cashback, but it's a concept of value. So they don't need immediate gratification, but they want to see that at some point there will be material monetary value from the loyalty program. But then there is a completely different group of markets, including US, France, Saudi, UAE, and Brazil, where if you look at the top, the exclusivity, VIP, experiential loyalty, emotional involvement is much more important. In France, when you have your campaign, you can't target the customer in the same way that you target for the US customer or a German customer. It has to be much more on exclusivity basis and VIP basis.
And this is why they said, so these are the main reasons for those members to join loyalty programs. And once they join the loyalty program, so we wanted to know which features, benefits they like the most. So why do they stay loyal to a program? And discounts and cashbacks, again, top. And US is that dark blue chart, the dark blue line there. So that dominates, definitely. But it is closely followed by experiences, by birthday, anniversary, and then by other value like free shipping, etc. But this is how you can actually personalize your communication with them. So even with discounts on purchases, it's not just discount on any purchase, it's on frequent purchases. So the customer wants to be recognized that you know that they, let's say, they buy, I don't know, coffee or milk every day. So they want those the discounts on those, like saying, okay, have a free one on us today. Or if somebody is, buying for their kids and they have children and school starting, give them some special discount or cashback on those kind of purchases. So there is room here for personalization in terms of your targeted communication with the members and email reminders and also, making them feel special and giving them those experiences such as birthdays, anniversaries, etc. So here's one interesting chart for you guys, because if you're spending all this money on personalization, you want to know it works. And we asked the customers, actually, if you receive, special communication, special offers, personalized offers, would you actually spend more, shop more? And 55% said yes. So 55% are very, very open, very positive. And the 35% who said they're indifferent. So they wouldn't spend less, but they wouldn't spend more either. But this is also the opportunity for loyalty programs to win them over. And we will show you a little bit why when we're talking about data privacy and trust. But what do airlines and hotels offer? So we have already said that discounts, cashbacks, then followed by experiences. But understandably, airlines, for example, or hotels, they don't offer free room rates or free flights or discounted flights because that will impact your top line immediately. So what airlines and hotels are going for is kind of the soft benefits. the value and the experiences. So such as, your priority boarding, your upgrades, lounges, etc. Whereas the heads of loyalty, if you look here, when we ask them which airline benefits do you think your members value the most, over 80% said free or bonus flights. But if you look at who offers it, not many.
Now, let's move to the second bucket of personalization of channels. And obviously, in the current world of multiple omni-channel strategies, it's quite difficult to find the perfect moment for such a varied groups of customers to deliver a perfect offer. But we tried to a little bit simplify this task for you and systemize it. So across 15 countries, we asked the customers how they want to receive their personalized offers. And are there patterns? Yeah, there are patterns. Again, Western European countries, predominantly UK, Benelux, Scandi, DACH, and France, they're still what we call traditional communication market societies, where email, websites, apps to some extent, which we would also consider a traditional channel, are dominating. Not so much direct calls, but apps, emails, and websites. US is interestingly much more closer to emerging market. Partially, we attribute it to much more tech-savvy society, and in the case of Brazil, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, it's clearly younger population. So in those markets, the apps and websites are still present, but you can see significantly lower percentage in the orange and yellow. But what we see at the top, the social media, and interestingly, SMS, is much more welcome channel. Why? Because they are not desktop-based. They are app-based. Everything's happening only on the smartphone. And we think that this is the trend that will penetrate more and more. And it's interesting that on the next slide, we can see that the companies are still focusing their marketing and personalization channel predominantly on the traditional channels. So this is what Head of Loyalty told us. The heads of loyalty of the largest airlines and hotels in their confidential survey of where they are attracting customers. And majority of them is still on app, website, property or onboard sign-ups for the loyalty programs. And almost very few, 1/3 of them are looking at the social apps and influencers. So there is a clear gap, especially in emerging markets and partially in the United States here, where the airlines and hotels, in this case, positioning their efforts and where the customers want the delivery. Okay, and that's one. Now we are moving to dynamic pricing. So, contentious concept somewhat, and we were expecting a little bit of negative attitude from customers, partially because we were thinking from our side that the customers are not that much of the welcoming dynamic pricing. It was a surprise to us that between 70 to 80% globally are positive about dynamic pricing, and we think that the customers are completely used to this, from the supermarket dynamic pricing now to all the way to the airline and hotel dynamic pricing. And they treat it as their opportunity to get the deal. And this is, if there is two most positive things out of this presentation, first one is this one, that you actually are completely free to dynamic price your product. And the second one, the next slide, is on the privacy and the first-party data.
Yes, and with the dynamic pricing, just keep in mind that they're happy with dynamic pricing, but they need to understand the why. So, and this is what shows this one here, because the hyper-personalization can also backfire. And we already mentioned, France, DACH, Benelux, they are the most skeptical markets. So again, there's no one-size-fits-all. You have to tailor your strategy and communication to the individual markets if you're operating internationally. Here, we asked them actually about the data sharing, as Anastasia just referred to. So roughly 90% of members globally said they're happy to share the data, either for free or for some reward exchange, but they need to understand what they're getting for it. And only 10% said categorically No. Again, there are differences in countries here. And there is some skepticism. US, for example, is very open to sharing data. So it's one of the highest countries where people said they share their data for free. That's fine. Whereas in Europe, they are much more skeptical about it. And then we wanted to know, so from those 10% who said they do not want to share their data, why wouldn't they? It's trust. It's basically trust issue. So the top answer was, we don't trust the companies not to sell our data. This was followed by, especially in Europe, they don't want companies to know too much about them. They feel that their privacy has been intruded. So to optimize your communication, you have to build trust. Anastasia, we have 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. And just if you allow me 1 minute to touch upon what is the state of the personalization in the companies that we have surveyed. I will show you just very quickly 3 slides. First and foremost, if you are struggling with personalization in your loyalty program, you're not alone. It's the biggest problem for every loyalty program that we interviewed. And this is the chart from the heads of loyalty of the largest airlines and hotels that we interviewed. All of them said that none of them, like 50%, are completely dissatisfied with their personalization program features. And over 20 to 33%, so close to 83%, they are only partially satisfied. So there is a lot of work to be done. Second one, is this a priority area of investment? It is, but yes and no. The majority of the budget and investment in 2023 went to adding features and benefits, upgrading CRM, member acquisition still, but we treat the personalization as part of the upgrading CRM, because what we are seeing, a lot of airlines and hotels, large hotel chains especially, they have partially legacy IT systems and legacy, not really advanced back core. So that's why the personalization is not yet, they can't implement the full scope of personalization. Are your teams ready for personalization? Apparently, that's the biggest skill gap in the current loyalty teams. So, and not surprisingly, that's what we are seeing on our GLO career portal. The requests for the personnel with knowledge of personalization is one of the highest trending career searches on our website.
So, thank you for listening. So this is our global portal, and please get in touch with us if you want the presentation, as I said. And also what we do is we are going to run the loyalty survey with airlines and hotels again this year, make it bigger. So if anyone wants to join the survey, please let us know. And the participants of the survey, they received the full report, which is a 55-page report with detailed insights into the industry trends, insights, and also the budget decisions, etc.
And Gilly can leave our contacts on the... Yep, thanks so much. That's our contacts. And if you're not part of GLO, we absolutely welcome you, and we'll work hard to share more insights with you. Thanks so much.